Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Deva Guru Jyotish Lab. In this video series, we're going to be using the Advanced Public Chart Search feature. And what this enables you to do is to create certain search parameters and run them through query with all of the publicly available birth data on astrodatabank.com. Deva Guru will automatically have all of the charts, and you can reference those and do your research, which honestly, for an astrologer wanting to do research, we have so much information that we can filter through so quickly. This is an absolute gem and a huge blessing to be able to do this. However, we kind of need to use it wisely, and it requires us to kind of think maybe a little bit more like a programmer. Um, and a lot of us astrologers, like myself, if you're anything like me, I'm not a programmer. So I kind of have to build a case of what it is I'm trying to study and then really sort of refine that and put that in the chart um, search function. And then from there, filter through and then be able to find the data that I want. So if you're on Deva Guru, and if you don't know too much about Deva Guru, I have another playlist on how to start using it and create an account and all that. So I'll link that in the description, and you can go and check that out. I'm currently here on the top. You can see here from my mouse, there are a number of tabs. And I'm under the public charts. Public charts, again, like I said, Astrodatabank has a lot of different birth data for a lot of different celebrities or famous people that are part of recorded history. And so what the programmer of Deva Guru has done has indexed them, and there are charts associated. So you can see here, and they are all listed out in alphabetical order. And currently, as of the date of recording this video, which is February 2026, there's over 71,000 charts. And they are also listed by Rodden rating. Rodden rating really is an indicator of the reliability of the birth data. AA Rodden rating being the gold standard because that's an actual birth record. Once you get into B and C, and then of course the dreaded DD, which is of course dirty data, that is unreliable. So unless you're going to get into chart rectification in that case, I would recommend staying away and just trying to stick to at least A, if not double A rating, because that's going to be more specific for Vargas and anything that you want to do with a refined search in that domain. So I'm currently on this tab, and I go here and I click on Advanced Search up at the top, and then this brings up this window. And I'm just going to flip myself down here and show you a little bit more about this. And then we're going to talk about specific conditions that we might want to search. And I will do other videos to show other interesting conditions that I've created or search criteria. And hopefully by watching this, you'll get an idea of how you can use these features and make them work to your benefit in your own chart research. So here I can pick the Rodden rating. And again, I would stick with the double A if you're doing chart research. And here you have specific tabs. Now, the developer for Deva Guru has cross-indexed key events or chart features with the Astrodatabank data, and has sorted it out. You can see here some of the big ones are vocation, family, writers, entertainment, death, sports, actors, actresses, relationships, lifestyle, entertainment, music, politics. So you can use that tag if, let's say, specifically you wanted to look for politicians that have Mars in the seventh house, right? You could just filter all that data and just say, just show me the politicians or charts that are linked to politics. So it's kind of nice to have that. And then there's all these and or not, these are test case scenarios. And then you have these wonderful filters The first filter will show the specific Varga in which you're going to be looking for your search criteria. And then here we have, you're either going to be looking for Graha placement, lordship, the dispositor Graha of a particular house, or a dispositor lord. You can look at Charakarakas and special lagnas, Vishesha lagnas, or the lordship of the Vishesha lagnas. And then here there's a bunch of different options. We'll get into that a little bit more, and then depending on this, this will create certain filters. Like for this particular case, if I were to go D1, Graha is moon in a specific sign, then I could do that, and I could use the moon column or sun or the ascendant. Like if I only wanted Leo ascendants, I could click on Leo ascendant, right? And then I could search those charts. Now, the key thing here is being able to use this search functionality intelligently, because there is so much firepower here that will enable you to look up a lot of charts very quickly. How can we make it relevant and applicable? And so for that, really, we kind of have to, like I said, adopt the mindset of a programmer a little bit and say, well, what exactly am I looking for in a particular test case? Like, for example, um, let's say I wanted to look at this concept of Shubhapati. Shubhapati literally means the dispositor of Shubha, or auspiciousness in the chart. And that is linked to the moon. So ultimately what I'm looking for is that moon's dispositorship. Is it a benefic planet? Is it a malefic planet? And where is that malefic planet gone? How is the manas of the individual being supported? So let's just create a case where I would say Shubha Pati is ruled by a malefic planet. Let's say for Mars. Ultimately, my hypothesis as an astrologer is if the Shubhapati is not well supported, either in a negative placement or conjunct negative planets, then that manas of the individual will be maybe not as positively supported, and there may be more difficulty with one's emotional well-being. That's my working hypothesis. Okay, let's see if we can actually search charts in Deva Guru that have those conditions. So we can say Shubhapati is Mars. Okay, let's kind of use this and create a quick search. So let's go here and say I want the dispositor Graha. Dispositor is going to be the moon because we're looking at the Shubhapati, and we want to say is. Right? And then here you can see that this right drop down will change. And here I can go is Graha. So the dispositor Graha is Mars. Now, ultimately, I can just use this and I can click on search. And lo and behold, I have just under 12,000 charts that I can research. If I went and I sorted it by Rodden rating, I'm paring it down a little bit by reliable birth data. And so here I can see listed alphabetically, starting with A. There's multiple pages, and I can probably go on and on and on, and I'm still on page 20, and I've just started on the Bs. So that is a lot of data. Now, let's say I wanted to add that any of those dispositors of the moon are malefic planets. So then what are the malefic planets? We have Mars, we have Saturn, we have Sun, and we have Rahu and Ketu. So let's add some additional search parameters to that. So we're going to say, just as we did for this, dispositor of moon is Mars. And let's say we wanted to add Saturn, Rahu, Ketu, and Sun. And then we can click on search. And then we see that our search parameters have widened somewhat. Because obviously we have more malefics, so now we can bring this up. And if I click on any of these charts, let's bring up Aaron Jean-Claude, and then open that tab. And we can go over here and we can see that there is this birth data, and we're going to look and say, oh, who is the dispositor of the moon? The moon is in Leo, so therefore it is the sun. And that meets all of our requirements. If I want to have more data on this individual, I can right click and open the Astro Data Bank entry, and then I have information here. This may not have a lot of historical evidence on this individual. I may have to go to a Wikipedia page to find out more, but this is all the pertinent astrological information that Deva Guru is drawing this from. Now, let's clear this and say, let's go back to my page where I was creating this search scenario. I can say Shubhapati is Mars, and narrow it down to Mars specifically. And I want Mars in 7th house. 7th house is regarded as a more negative placement for Mars because it is in Maranasthana. It is said to be the place where Mars, the significations of Mars, feel like they're dying. So, for example, at a Karaka level, we say that what is Mars all about? Mars is about protecting borders and boundaries and carving out space for yourself and defending yourself and using weapons and going to war and fighting. It is also the karaka of irritability and frustration, and in that sense, it is a very malefic planet. And so, what happens is that when a native has Mars in the 7th house and they have to go to battle, there can be difficulty associated with that Maranasthana. Now, there are, of course, bhangas and reversals and all that kind of stuff. But right now, I just want to say, what if the Shubhapati, the dispositor of the moon, is Mars, and that Mars is in Maranasthana in the D1? So let's go back to Deva Guru. I want to create an AND scenario, which basically adds an additional test case, which will say, find me moon's dispositor is Mars, and find me Mars in the 7th house. So we're going to say Graha is in, and we could tie it to specific signs or specific nakshatras if we wanted to, but I want Mars in 7th house. And so from there, I have this, give me the Shubhapati is Mars, and then Mars is in the 7th house. And then I can create a search function for there, and I get 900 charts. And so if I click on any one of these charts, let's just do, see if there's somebody I know here. There are a lot of people that I'm not necessarily familiar with. Oh, actually, let me go back here and do only show me the AA Rodden rating. And then that pares it down quite a bit. And then I'm going to try to find someone here that I know. Oh, here's a chart of Kevin Costner. And I will open this. And here we have Kevin Costner's chart. And I can see here that the dispositor of the moon is in Scorpio. And so it's either going to be Mars or Ketu if we're using dual lordship. And in this case, Mars is indeed in the 7th house. Wonderful. So we have that search parameter. Now, let's refine this a little bit further and say Mars is in Maranasthana in D1. What if I didn't care? It could either be in the Rashi chart in the D1, or it could be in the Navamsha. Give me both. That might widen the search a little bit, but it will still create that parameter of Mars being in a situation where it's not being quite friendly supporting the native's moon. So essentially what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be adding or Mars in 7th house in the D9. So let's go back and see if we can build that test case. Okay. So then I'm going to go to or D1 Graha is Mars. And again, because I've just done this search parameter in the D1, I want it in the D9. Vigraha Mars is in 7th house. So essentially what I'm saying is give me all the cases where Mars is a dispositor of the moon and Mars in 7th house in the D1 or in the D9. And now we're going to click on search. Oh, and of course, I only have the AA Rodden rating. And so I've gone from just under 600 charts to just under 1,200 charts now. I've sort of doubled my search. And from here, let's pick another chart at random. Let me just go over a couple more pages and say this person, Pascal Delanoy, and click on open a new tab. And let's just confirm that it searched correctly. So the dispositor of the moon should be Mars. And here Mars is in the 8th house. So that does not meet the search criteria. However, if I go over to the D9, I can see that Mars is indeed in the 7th house conjunct Rahu, which is less than ideal for marriage. And also for the person's emotional well-being, unless there's some cancellation factors here, which of course I can research that too. But what a wonderful tool that we have here, right? And so you can really use this for widening your search to whatever different parameters that you can think of. If I really wanted to, I could do, I could add this to maybe say, include, say, the dispositor of the moon is Saturn as well. And Saturn, of course, is in Marana position in the 1st house. So I could add on that additional layer, and that would, of course, widen my search. But I would have more charts to search from. So the idea here is that with this particular feature, we want to be very clear in our heads about specific test cases and how to find that. Like if I wanted to say I'm only really interested in folks that are involved in politics that have this, and I can click on that, and then now I only have 146 charts, right? So now we can get really, really laser specific and focused in finding the charts that we want to find. So the idea here is that I'm going to create more video series. If you guys have any specific test cases that you're interested in pinpointing, or you're trying to find specific search parameters and you're not 100% sure on how to find them, please feel free to post in the comments. And I will see if I can help you by creating a video series in that regard as well. But what a cool tool, huh? This is amazing. And so my hat's off to the developer of the software for being able to create that. So I hope this video was helpful. Thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in another video very soon. Take care.